I've used several motion sensors over the years, but this one is by far the smallest one that I've ever seen. But should you check it out, or is it worth skipping? In this video, we're going to set up and configure the Apollo Automation MSR-2 motion sensor home assistant and see whether you should check it out or whether it can be skipped. And if you stick around until the end, I'll compare the MSR-2 to another popular millimeter wave motion sensor, and we'll see how it stacks up. So quickly going over the specs here before we get into it. It's a millimeter wave sensor, which means that it has a detection for both large movements and small movements. That allows it to pick up really sensitive movements that other sensors may not be able to detect. And as you can see, it's tiny. It's approximately 40 millimeters by 24 millimeters by 15 millimeters. It's so small, in fact, that it's been behind me this whole time in the video, and I bet you didn't even notice it. The MSR-2 is very small. Some of the sensors on board are a Lite and pressure sensor and a temperature sensor, along with an RGB LED that's fully configurable within Home Assistant, and then a buzzer is included also. This allows it to play different tunes that sound kind of like a ringtone from cell phones back in the day. I'll be demoing that a little bit later in the video. The MSR-2 supports target tracking for one person and has 3 different zones available in the configuration. The range of the MSR-2 is about 19.6 feet, so between 19 and 20 feet or so. And this makes the MSR-2 great for a small bedroom or a bathroom or other small to medium-sized room. There's technically Bluetooth proxying available on the MSR-2, but it's not enabled by default and requires that you edit some files and recompile some of the firmware on the MSR-2 in order for it to work. I'll be going into that a little bit later. Now, to get this set up into Home Assistant, you can add the MSR-2 using Wi-Fi by powering on the device. You can switch your Wi-Fi network to the Wi-Fi network on the MSR-2. And then once you connect, you can type in your username and password for your Wi-Fi, and then you can click connect. But I find a way easier way is to plug it in like normal, but instead go straight to Home Assistant if you have Bluetooth configured, and it will show the MSR-2's Bluetooth there on the Home Assistant menu. And you can add the MSR-2 that way to Home Assistant instead of connecting to that other Wi-Fi hotspot. When you connect with Bluetooth and Home Assistant, it will ask you for your Wi-Fi's username and password anyways, but it's a much friendlier way to get the MSR-2 set up than having to swap hotspots and all of that stuff. No matter which method you use, drop me a comment to let me know if you're running any problems, and I'll try to help you out with the installation. Now, the first thing we're going to want to do after getting it set up in Home Assistant is check that all the sensors are working correctly. And so I put the MSR-2 over here on a shelf in my living room, and when I walk into the range of the MSR-2, it will show me as detected, and then when I leave the range of the MSR-2, it will show the motion detection as being cleared. So after getting it hooked into Home Assistant, you're going to want to make sure to do some initial configuration. That way you can get the most accurate readings for your scenario. So once you go to the device page, you can scroll down and see this configuration section. Now there's a lot of options here. Now the MSR-2 has 3 zones that you can configure. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a web UI. There's no add-on you can do. There's no website you can go to like that. You'll just have to configure it manually. And so you go down to the settings and you can change these numbers to reflect the distance that you want your zones to be. There's a diagram from Apollo Automation's website or one of their YouTube videos where they list what the zones kind of look like from the sensor's point of view. Hopefully this is an easy way for you to understand how the zones work in lieu of, an add-on or something that lets you configure it with a drag and drop menu. And so we can see with my sensors, I've configured them to 300, 450, and 600. And as I walk closer to the sensor, the different zones show me as detected. And then when I leave the different zones, it shows those zones as clear. If you want the fastest updates possible, I recommend changing the timeout to 1 second. That way you'll be notified in Home Assistant within 1 second of something changing, and that's pretty good for most automations. Now, because it's a millimeter wave sensor, that means that the MSR-2 can sometimes struggle with false positives. And the MSR-2 has a kind of a unique way of dealing with these false positives. However, because the MSR-2 doesn't have an add-on to configure a no-go zone or an ignore area on the MSR-2, it has the concept of what are called gates. Here's another diagram, also from Apollo Automation, that shows how far each gate is from the previous gate. So a gate is basically a predefined area that the sensor can see. And this diagram shows approximately how far away each gate is from the ones surrounding it. I suspect this terminology is from the manufacturer, but regardless, this allows us to tune out false positives. When it comes to the MSR-2, there's two types of motion. There's moving motion, which is someone or maybe a pet or something like that actively moving from one spot to another. And then there's the still motion detection, which is someone sitting still after having walked or moved through the sensor's view. So to eliminate a false positive with the MSR-2, now under the configuration, you'll enable radar engineering mode, and then under diagnostics, you'll see a bunch of values for all of the gates that are currently on the MSR-2. Some will be at or near 0 to 5%, while others will be much, much higher. So for example, the one near my ceiling fan, that one ended up being anywhere from 40 to 50% compared to some of the others, which were, around 5 or 10% sometimes. And so the number that's really high, that's the one that's causing the false positive. So to clear up the false positive, you find out which number is the highest number that the gate is detecting up to. So for example, mine was detecting on G6 up to 57% of the still motion detection, as we can see in the configuration. So because it only got up to 57% max, we can tell the MSR-2 to ignore that by going up to the configuration, going to the G6 still threshold number, and bumping that up to something higher than whatever the maximum value was that we saw earlier. So in this case, I'm going to put it at around 60. This tells the MSR-2, if something out of this gate is detected as underneath this number, then you can ignore it. You might have to play around with it to get the right values, or some things across multiple gates, you'll have to do that for each gate in order for it to be ignored. It's kind of annoying, quite honestly. And so depending on where you're planning on putting this thing, you might want to put it in an area that doesn't have false positives, or angle it in such a way that you don't have to deal with false positives. And the MSR-2 has two quirks that are different from basically every other presence motion sensor. It has a configurable RGB LED, and it also comes with a buzzer. Now, the LED is like any other LED. You can configure it like a light in Home Assistant, and when you turn it on, the LED turns on, and you can change the different colors on the LED depending on your automation. So if you wanted to have the light turn on when it's trash day, then you can do that. Or if you want to have it turn green on payday, you can do something like that too. The buzzer is actually really interesting because it lets you play music based on RTTTL character strings. These are text-based musical descriptions that were originally used for ringtones way back in the day, but let anyone with the MSR-2 play some short tunes coming out of a little speaker on the board. So for example, you can play something like this, or even more commonly known songs like this. I'll put a link to some RTTTL tunes in the description if you want to check those out. But this is a neat little quirk that gives some character to the MSR-2 that most other motion sensors don't have. When it comes to Bluetooth proxying, the MSR-2 has the ability to proxy Bluetooth devices. Unfortunately, it's kind of a manual process, and you have to add it manually using the ESP Home Builder add-on. So once you download the ESP Home Builder add-on, you then have to take control of the MSR-2. You then click Edit, and then you have to copy their Bluetooth configuration file path from their GitHub. You then have to go back into the ESP Home Builder. You then have to paste that in and save and install it. And then you have to wait for everything to finish. Then after it's been flashed with this new firmware, then you will see the Bluetooth proxy show up in the Home Assistant integration. Quite honestly, I think this is a missed opportunity by Apollo Automation to have it required manual configuration just to get a Bluetooth proxy to work, considering that the Everything Presence Lite comes with it out of the box. And so I think they should include Bluetooth proxying by default in the MSR-2 configuration. Okay, so we've got it set up, we've got it configured the way we want. So how does the MSR-2 compare to other millimeter wave sensors. The Everything Presence 1 and the Aqara FP2 are in a different price class and performance class. In my opinion, the closest competitor for the MSR-2 is the Everything Presence Lite. These are approximately the same range. They have similar sensors on board. They're both USB-C powered and they both integrate with Home Assistant with the ESP Home. The price for the MSR-2 and the stand is approximately the same as the Everything Presence Lite, maybe within a couple dollars, depending on shipping and taxes and tariffs and that sort of thing. So they're approximately equal when it comes to price. But the most important difference between the Everything Presence Lite and the MSR-2 is configurability. The Everything Presence Lite is so much easier to configure than the MSR-2. I think it's really what holds the MSR-2 back from being a great sensor instead of just a good sensor, is that it's kind of difficult to configure, especially for beginners. The Everything Presence Lite has an add-on Home Assistant that lets you drag and drop different zones. It allows you to save and load your configuration. And of course, you can enable persistence, and that shows the little red dot in the Everything Presence Lite's add-on. But when it comes to the MSR-2, it's kind of annoying to configure, quite honestly. And so I would definitely be keeping the MSR-2. I'm going to be putting it in my bathroom and using it to turn the switch on or off when people walk in. It's been working great so far and works every time. But you might be wondering, what are the top features of the Everything Presence Lite and how do I configure them? In this video, I go over the top 3 features of the Everything Presence Lite and how you can get them set up within Home Assistant. So tap or click that card to watch that next.